All right. It's Thursday. Trying to stay awake. I went down to the Twin Cities and went to Lion King, saw the musical last night. So staying up past 11 on a weekday is not in my roundhouse usually. So I'm a little tired this morning because we stayed in the Twin Cities last night and drove back this morning. But the Lion King was nice. I hadn't seen it before, but I was well aware of the musical. It held up. Uh, so okay, so we are going to talk about creativity today and the final project. So I'm going to, I think, start on the final project and just remind you what you're supposed to be doing there because we'll give you some time to work on that later on today once we get done with creativity. So again, for the final paper, final project slash final paper, it's the same thing. You're going to be picking something to research on and basically doing a little scientific experiment and writing it up. It has to have to do with machine learning. You can go back and look at something we've already done in class and build on that. In some ways, you can bring in your own data, your own analysis, something like that. Look at something we've done and add to it. So, yeah, but the idea is that it has to be kind of a scientific experiment, something that you are testing out a hypothesis. You have to have a hypothesis, and then you have to test it out and collect some data, report the results back. While you're doing this, you need to then place this in the kind of perspective of other research there. So you have to do a literature review. Have other people been doing this? What have they been doing there? Now, when we do big research projects, I mean, the literature review we'll spend, months on, and we'll, often literature reviews are, 50 or 100 articles all in different categories and different areas of this research. But that you're not doing a thesis, you're just doing a paper for class. So again, we just need you to get a couple research or sources that'll talk about what you want. You can look at a couple different ways, and so let's just look at where you might get peer-reviewed papers here. So as far as this goes, you need to have at least 2 peer-reviewed or academic peer-reviewed journal sources. So you can search the library search engine, Solr, and do that, or I actually prefer Google Scholar for this. If you go to Google Scholar and just click articles, it'll search that. If you're logged in as you, it'll actually tie into your library and give you access to the Saint Scholastica library stuff through here. And again, so how do you do this? So you can look at some like the technology that you're looking at. So maybe you're using convolutional neural networks and you're going to compare 2 of them, like MobileNet versus some other thing. You could look up that, someone else is probably doing something similar in a different domain. So you could do CNN for convolutional neural network and then MobileNet. Here and find some articles that people are using this for. So like here's someone using MobileNet to detect COVID-19 infections. Here's a comparison of MobileNet and ResNet. So again, maybe if you're comparing it, you'd do the same thing. Now this is for skin cancer. Maybe you'd be using a different data set, one of them from class or something like that. But you could reference this article. And then the idea is that like when you're writing a paper, you'd want to say something like, if you're gonna, let's say you're gonna use it on our, I think we have a pneumonia database. or a COVID, of X-rays, you could say something like MobileNet has and ResNet have been studied with skin cancer, which is, and just talk about how it's similar to your research, but again, it would be different, and your job would be applying it to this particular case study there. So you could reference this paper and their results when you're writing up your paper. So that sometimes, again, you'll find someone doing basically the same thing you're doing, but in a different application. You'll probably find, people are running lots of research, so everything out there has been done. There's research on lots and lots of stuff, so you should be finding it. The other thing is just to find, maybe you want a description of CNNs. Maybe you're looking at fine-tuning a CNN for this. And so you could find some articles that would talk about fine-tuning a CNN, how that would work. So again, here's one talking about, again, looking at it for medical image analysis, full training or fine-tuning. A couple of things I'd point out here. Well, first, look for the ones on the right. These will be the PDFs. So you can then read I want to go at a separate window. You can then read the full article here. I'll just warn you, as an undergrad, just starting off this field, you're probably not going to understand all these articles. So, my hope, I always think as an undergrad, if you can understand a quarter or a third of an article, good enough so you can kind of understand it and quote part of it, that'd be great. I always think grad students should be able to understand more, like, in the field, maybe 2/3 or 3/4 of an article, maybe there for it. I don't even know if anyone ever really understands all of some of these articles, except for the people who write them here. They do kind of follow the same structure, so they always have an abstract, which is a good summary. So that might be a good place to start, or the introduction. They'll have a literature review, or like in this case, it's called the related works for this. And again, then they'll have usually their study, their analysis, and then their results, usually in maybe some graph form or something like that for this. But again, sometimes the way they report the results are going to be totally different than anything we've seen. So like this is reporting false positive results, this FROC analysis. You might have to read, or you may not, maybe you're not interested, you just know that from the abstract that they're doing something similar to what you're doing, and they found some positive results for it. So again, don't feel like you have to understand this whole article to cite it. Back in Google here, as far as citing goes, if you find an article like this that you want, you can just click the cite here and get it in API or MLA format for it. So in the science world, we tend to use APA format for things. So I will tend to use this. Oh, tell you the truth, a lot of computer conferences have their own kind of specific format. So there's an ACM format, an IEEE format. So sometimes we have to do that. But here you can just use the APA format and grab that citation and put it in your work. Another thing to watch, one question you can say is how important this paper is. And one thing we look at is how many other papers cited it. And then this related articles is good. So if you find an article that you think is interesting or related to your area, click on the related articles and it'll list off a bunch of similar articles, often articles that may be citing this one or based on this, or this one that this one cites. So that's a good way to do some more research, is to click on this related articles. And again, you just have to find 2 or 3 articles here. So again, you might find good applications. Maybe you can't find anything about the particular technology you're going to use, the particular model, but you can about like the topic. So maybe you are doing something different on our, I'm trying to, what else we did? We did whale tails. We did humpback whale identification. So you could at least you could find articles about humpback whales here, and you could find examples of that. So even if you may not find your exact stuff, you can find something related to that that you could reference in your article. I mean, in your paper. Okay, so questions on finding these sorts of papers? One thing you may want to watch for, again, is a meta-analysis. So there are just standard papers that do some study, and then a meta-analysis will look at a bunch of papers and summarize a bunch of papers. So sometimes that's helpful when you're just getting started to find a meta-analysis, because it will kind of give you a summary of the different papers and bring the results together. So that's something to look at when you're in a new field. Okay, so for this, we want you to figure out a topic for this. Think about what your topic might be, and then you're going to need to write up this summary or the outline for Sunday night here. So again, you just have to do the green sections of this, your overview, that sort of stuff. So okay, we're gonna go back in and do creativity, and then after we're done with that, I'll wonder on if you ask how you're doing. If you want to brainstorm some ideas, I can brainstorm with you some ideas of a topic or something like that to get you, if you don't already have one selected in class here. Okay, so let's jump into creativity. So last class, we kind of talked about these big questions in AI. What is intelligence? Are animals intelligent? Can computers be intelligent? Can they have emotions? Are they sentient? And we kind of left off this creativity stuff. So that's what we're going to kind of look at today. It's interesting. I've left some of these older articles here because it's interesting to look even back 2 or 3 years ago, even just 2 years ago, a lot of people were just talking about how maybe, questioning creativity or whatever, because again, we didn't have that much in the way of generative models here, where nowadays we, one of the biggest complaints of like large language models, they're too creative. They will make up stories, they'll make up truths. Here we talk about this, well, I just call it, they lie, but we use the term hallucinate in them. They just make up lots of stuff for this. I'm going to go to this second posting here and talk a little bit about creativity. One thing I like is Wikipedia lists out, it changes a little bit, but basically 4 types of creativity. And that's what I want you to kind of think of as you're working on creativity. One is exploratory creativity. This arises from exploring an established conceptual space. And I think this is what AI does a lot there. And I think this is what a lot of beginning artists do. You look at a lot of art and then you kind of combine that art, explore that art. You're into some field, you're into this, maybe you're into ink drawing, or you're into charcoal or something like that, and you're just exploring, and you look at lots of examples, you look at lots of other people who are doing that, and then you just kind of explore in that area. It's not groundbreaking or whatever, it's just trying out this field. Now, transformational creativity, again, is is a kind of what I would say takes you out of that. You're not just exploring one space, you're trying to get out of that space. Like they say, transformers transcend a space. So you might be working in one area and you really want to break them over, push the boundaries of what's in that space here. And again, some of you might argue that AI might be good at exploratory creativity, but not so much at this transformational creativity for this. Another type of creativity is the generate and evaluate. I think AI is really good at this. And that is just trial and error sort of stuff. You try out different things and you see what you like for this stuff. And again, so basically you just generate multiple versions. You might draw something, you might work with things, and then kind of look through and say, oh, I kind of like this. I'm going to continue on this route, that route. I'm not a painter and artist, but I had dinner with two painters the other day, and all they were talking about was scraping. They were just talking about how they paint something and they just didn't like it and they'd scrape it. I don't know what exactly scraping was, but it involved this sort of action on the canvas. So they scrape their canvas and they paint again, and they didn't like it and they scrape it in. And that made me think of this generation evaluation and that stuff. Or else they just scrape different sections of it. So idea. The last thing is combinatoric creativity. Again, was be combining pre-existing ideas or objects. And again, this is what we certainly see AI doing, is taking this picture in putting it in this style copying and stuff like that, or combining different like subject matters together for this. And again, I think a lot of interesting work is, I think if you think of music and different music styles, a lot of, in the last 50 years, a lot of the new music styles that have grown up have been in some ways combining or, melding different music styles together for this. So, I don't think I'm going to talk too much about the rest of this. A lot of this is getting kind of old, and I left it here because I thought you might be interested to see, like this is a Forbes article from 3 years ago. This is these people trying to write a hit musical, and it's amazing how much work they had to do to create this compared to what we do now, how far AI has come. So I left some of these just so you can kind of see here. This is talking about AI companions from 2022, ideas that dating apps, chatbots out in the dating apps, again, a few years ago for this. So I just left those there. But again, a lot of them are, in some ways, I think a little outdated in today's. I think we've really seen an explosion of generative AI. And so that's what I want to do, is play with that today. So no project, because we're working on your final project here, no discussion this week. And so we're just going to do this learning activity here. And so the idea of the learning activity is that there's this list, this page, shared document of different generative AI examples, and you have to put in your own examples into here, generate something. So generate a poem, have AI generate a poem or a picture or something like that. We talked last class, we went and did Suno and generate a song about how exciting class was. So again, your job is to do one of these. I put a couple new ones in here. So there's a comic book generator here. There's a couple out here. This is the one that's through Hugging Face here. So again, you give it a style of comic books here, and then what kind of layout it should be in, and then a story here. So we want a dog meeting aliens, a space ship, and then a style here. So and it'll generate the comic. So you can try that out if you want. We have the newest video generator out there is this Hapier. And you can generate short videos, 4-second videos with this account. So there you can say you can create one with an image, or just create a video with a text prompt for this. Now, when you do this, one thing I saw on the instructions was I think you can switch this to, yeah, when you go to this, by default, it's only 2 seconds long, which isn't very long. But you can click on this and make it at least 4 seconds long, so you can get a little longer prompt. And then again, you can just type in a word, or like here, I just used it to generate, this is a 1940s picture of Saint Scholastica. I just did that, animated that. So again, you can do something like that with this. And again, there's some really cool examples. Where's there? Of videos. You can see these videos they are creating here. Some really neat example. Even though they're only about a few seconds long, there's some. It's really interesting. So again, so your job is to go generate something, put it in, find one of these areas that doesn't have a student's name in it, put your name in there, and generate something. And we'll spend some time. And then I thought we'd just go around and share each other's work in class to see what you generate. Because I want to see something. So try to generate something fun so the rest of us can see it, and post it in here, and we'll go around and see optionally. Okay. Hunter, I want to see a good sign. I assume you're going to do Oh, either one, I'm fine. You can do two. We are, yeah, there's plenty of spots there. Put them both in there. We're being creative. So here's my dog meeting the aliens comic strip. Okay, we've been posting these to our samples area. So we had Max and Miles and stuff post some early pictures here. Oh, so again, create a picture of how the world will look like 100 years, that sort of stuff. Colonizing Mars for that. Grace, how did you like, Grace, go over there. How did you like that? Did you like those pictures? They're both very similar. I don't know. Yeah, so. Okay, and Chelsea did a poem of Minnesota summers. And this is just top quality literature here. So in Minnesota's land of lakes and pines, where the summer sun forever shines, There's a magic in the air that you'll find in the warmth of Minnesota's kind. There. So just classic, top-notch poetry generated by this. I do see some better results with, and not this is awful, but I mean, this is just the standard, 4 phrases all rhyming at the end, sort of stuff. So if you ask it to do it in a certain style or match a certain stuff, sometimes I guess you get it maybe more sophisticated poems there. So Reese, so Ryland, you did a music. And what was your prompt?
Song about a woman obsessed with her goddess, willing to do whatever it takes to get on her goddess's good side.
Okay.
On knees, praying daily for her deity, willing to serve whatever she may need. She's intoxicated. Oh, she got that devotion created. She wants to fire, brings no sleep. What is sleep? She'll go around the shades of God's feet. Forever by his side. She'll always be. She will worship God.
Okay, nice. I'm just amazed at the Suno and what it can generate. It's just pretty impressive. There. So. Okay, Hunter, we did songs. An 8-bit boss fight.
Yeah, so that's one thing I realized is it can do 8-bit songs. So like I went crazy on that too.
Is this the right? I think yeah. Okay. So classic Nintendo era 8-bit instrumental song, right? Uh-huh.
And yeah, the second one was not 8-bit, but just more instrumental.
Okay. So my wife was asking me about copyright with something like this and what you can do there. And my understanding currently from the last Supreme Court ruling is that AI generated stuff can't be copyrighted there, that you can't, so you can use it in your work, baby. And I don't know what this one, if this will let you use it commercially or not, but often they will. But again, you can use it, but again, you're not going to be able to copyright it because it was AI generated. So, but nice. Okay, so Addison, we've got some robots looking good. Oh, we have a new poem from Emily here. Finals week in college. Yeah. In halls of learning, minds ablaze, where knowledge blooms in endless maze, there comes a time of stress and strain when finals week ignite the brain. It was just wonderful. Were you happy with it? So it's just very good, right? So I am impressed by the creative wordplay with some of this stuff. So that as it goes. So okay, then let's go down. So the cat bat, flying cats. Allie, you did this? Yeah, done it. Oh, this is cool. How did you get so a little creepy? So not bad. So I like this one with the paws. This one just looks like it's yeah. So okay, AJ. what we did a story about, wow, that's very detailed, story about a princess. Yeah, right. Just lay every detail out there,
Yeah.
specify everything, nail that down. So how is the story?
I wanted to, it was good actually.
Okay. Once upon a time in a kingdom far away, very creative opening for that.
No, I know. Oh, mine, I know.
Right. Yes, sometimes you just have to hit the classics. There lived a beautiful princess. Okay, from the moment she was born, her parents knew she was destined for greatness. With golden hair, sapphire eyes, and a heart filled with courage and kindness, she embodied all the virtues of a true princess. This is like the
It was active.
Right.
It like right the end.
Whoa, okay,
It's
okay.
on fire.
Finally, after many trials, what's her name?
Aurelia.
Aurelia reached the Ember's sacred chambers. With a heavy heart, she realized that to unleash its power, she would have to make the ultimate sacrifice, her life force.
I know.
Without hesitation, Aurelia gave herself to the flame, and in a blinding flash, the curse was lifted. The kingdom rejoiced as spring returned, and Aurelia, now the empowerment of hope itself, took her rightful place on the throne. Her reign was marked by peace and prosperity and abiding love for her people, a love that would echo through the ages long after the prince herself was
Wait, I have
gone.
an issue. So she gave herself to
Yeah.
the flame, but she's still on the throne.
Somehow the flame's magic and the live.
Right,
Okay.
yes. Okay,
Right.
sorry, yes. The embodiment, yes, okay. And so then we have Sheba did fairies and mythical creatures. Yeah, yes, those are cute. Interesting mix of real and imaginary in those. So okay. Lauren, we did Underwater City.
I was trying to do the happier videos, but they were not working.
Okay, yeah.
I
Right.
guess.
Mateen, what did we, story about a basketball player. All right. How'd you like the story about the basketball player, Mateen? Uh-huh. So, of course, story about a basketball player, we got to put it in Chicago there. So, yeah. Looks good. Okay, and then we got a nice picture of well, that's kind of a cool graphic. Okay, now we have an upbeat song. I like this. Man who fell in love after first sight. Oh,
Across the river, I be racing. I can feel the glow, baby. I swear it was love at first sight. You had that glow, shining so bright.
okay.
One of the pop songs, you know, is a, I think it's a country song about a guy ordering a burger and he asked for no pickles, but then she picked it. And it's like a whole like song about it. And it's really good. So really, and
I would do the same.
I would. I've been.
Right. Henry, okay, Henry gave us a poem about penguins and airplanes. See? That's nice and different.
Like I stop this high and then it's more bread.
Does he do the throw thing?
No, he like the ghost was like no. No. And then he goes through, he gets a burger from like McDonald's and it's only there.
Oh my god, okay. We're so upset. I work at Skyline and someone ordered a burger, just no burger, just everything else.
As they should.
Everything else.
That's a veggie burger.
I don't know.
They should.
Right, okay, and then, okay, here's Meshi, where, again, you can create 3D models. We've used this a little bit and talked about this in game design, there, so, And Jeffrey, you did a small penguin for this. It's nice. And here we got this generated picture of these mountains in Afghanistan. Halima, have you seen these mountains? Okay. And are these similar to that? Wow. So yeah, so you got article and pictures of it. So is this were you by these at some point? Were you near this area?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. I just want to share, I didn't put one in here, and I just want to share again. I don't know if you've seen this newest technology, but I wanted to do something about AI. We're now seeing people create AI influencers where we have a whole social media presence, and it's all an AI person. So I don't know if you follow or you know of any of those that are out there, but there's quite a bit of. But Microsoft, you can't use it yet, but they just released videos of their newest tool where you can give it a script and a picture. So you can get an audio recording. You give an audio recording and a picture.
Listen and listen. Because I'm a true believer that if you're really bad at something like listening, for example, it only shows you that, hey, you have to practice listening as much as you can.
Okay.
We introduced VASA, a framework for generating lifelike talking faces with appealing visual effective skills, given a single static image and speech audio. Our model is
Terrifying.
not only producing
Right.
exquisitely synchronized, but also capturing a large spectrum.
You can zoom in on it, and again, you just give it an audio file here. There's also a thing that you can make them happier. There's these icons you can click on to make them angry or happy or stuff like that when they're reading this out.
And the development of such
Right. So I thought that was just kind of scary. So for this. Okay. Yeah, so you just did I have you? Oh, yes, Hunter?
I put the link for anybody. Okay, it's in the doc we just did.
Okay, so the pickle song is here?
Yeah.
Okay, at the bottom, or where is it?
No, it's in my.
Okay, so you get if you need to listen to the pickle song, it'll be there. Okay. Okay. I just wanted to mention that there's a fair amount of study of creativity and AI and stuff. So one of the main conferences, this Neural Ips, it happens every year. They have a creativity workshop there, and they do a talk. So this was from this past December here. And again, they have guest speakers, and they have a whole range of papers they accept to this workshop. So it's like additional to the main conference out there here. And so you see lots of things like personalized comic story generation or things like, here's a paper on what was the paper on just word art designs in different languages where you're incorporating kind of some objects into the word art. So not like Wordle sort of stuff that what I think, but some creative use of that there. So again, there's a fair amount of research and papers actually, being done in this area. So that's what I included here. Okay, so you just have to post something and then submit. You can just submit something for the assignment saying you did it. I'll just look through this to make sure, but it's not easier for me to grade them if you submit something. So just here for the learning activity, just submit a note saying I submitted, or a link to this shared document. Just submit something. It just makes it easier for me to grade it for you there. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up here, and then I'll go around, and if you are struggling for a final paper topic, I'll see, I'll help you brainstorm some ideas. So by Sunday, again, hopefully you've done the learning activity. And then by Sunday, we need a final project outline, just the topic you're gonna be doing. Sound good? Okay,